What's going on, guys? Orange Form coming with a new video. This video I'm going to be talking about game one of that preseason. I know it happened a couple days ago. Detroit Lions going up to Jersey and playing the New York Giants. We're going to talk about this first preseason game versus the Giants, and this is kind of a little bit new to my channel. I've never really talked about preseason games, just mainly like everything else but these preseason games, they do, like, every now and then. I've been doing this channel. I've been doing this channel for about 3-4 years now. I think I'm going on year 4. I feel like it's been a while, and like I said, don't really get into the preseason games. I'm sure I've talked about it here and there, but this is kind of like new to me, talk about these preseason games, because it's preseason, right? Like, preseason's kind of like, it's an evaluation period. You're evaluating, I think, more individual players than you are as a team. That's kind of how it is. Well, football is a team sport. I think it's the biggest team sport, everything, more than any other sport out there. Basketball, baseball, hockey combined. And no dissing on those sports whatsoever. I played basketball. I played baseball. But I always felt that football was more of a team-oriented sport. And when it comes to preseason football, I always think it's more individual efforts that coaches dwell on or evaluate you on. So I know there's people out there that are freaking out that the Lions lost this game 14-3, whatever it was that they lost. The Lions didn't do much, but there's some good things that come out of this. There's some bad, and obviously we have to talk about that. But all in all, I like the way some of it went. Obviously, it didn't go completely as planned. To me, the score doesn't matter. I wanted to see everybody come healthy. We had guys like Antoine Green go out with a concussion, wide receiver, then another backup, O-lineman Connor Galvin went out, and he's done for the year. I think he tore his MCL, so he's done. He's going to be out for the year. So we did lose some guys. It's unfortunate, but it happens in football. The depth right now in the O-line is probably concerning. They're going to have to go out and do some things, but we're going to talk about this preseason game. And usually when I talk about the regular season games, if you're new to my channel, I usually talk, I'll go over the Lions stats and the Giants stats. I'm not going to really go over the Giants stats. Might say a couple things here about some certain players, but all in all, I'm going to focus on the Lions. Now, if you guys all know, nobody played for Detroit. One starter played. It was cornerback Terrion Arnold. He should be cornerback 2 to start the season, and I think he logged 10 or 12 snaps. Looked pretty decent. He I don't think he was targeted once. He held Malik Neighbors to, I believe, no catches. That doesn't mean that Malik Neighbors got a bunch of targets. I'm just saying that whoever he was on, he locked him down pretty good. And I thought we saw some good things from our corners and from other players as well. But I'm not going to trip out over losing 14-3. There's a lot of people out there that are losing their minds. This is why I kind of didn't do it yesterday. I was busy going on social media, bewildered about how some people are just freaking out over preseason, especially Bears, Packers, and Vikings fans too. Just saying how the Lions, this is what truly what the Lions are. They're going to just score 3 points a game. It's just funny. But let's go over the stats. You guys know quarterback situation. Jared Goff never played. Nate Sudfeld started the game. He went 13-24 for 96 yards and an interception. 54% completion percentage. Quarterback Hendon Hooker come in, went 5 for 9, 55% completion percentage, 36 yards. And I thought Sudfeld was terrible. Now, I know there's a bunch of people out there that are freaking out over him, and I kind of agree with that. I don't know what the infatuation is with Nate Sudfeld. You hear a bunch of Lions fans, you hear other people talk about how Jared Goff loves Sudfeld and how he communicates with him on the sidelines and all that stuff. He's familiar with the offense. He is a terrible quarterback. He is terrible. He doesn't look comfortable out there. I don't know how he's even in the NFL. They have an infatuation with him. They think he's great for Goff. It's got to be something along those lines. It's because it sure doesn't come from talent. And I'm not saying I could go out there and play the quarterback for the Detroit Lions, but my God, he's awful. And then Hooker came in. I thought he looked a little more comfortable. Like, you don't see it in the numbers. 5 for 9, 36 yards. And then he eventually got concussed as well too, Hendon Hooker. So actually we lost him. We lost a couple guys to a concussion. Don't know when that happened. He did truck stick a DB on a really nice run. I believe it was a 15, 16-yard run, whatever it was. Put his head down and ran someone over and got an extra couple yards on it. He needs to learn how to slide, get out of bounds. I get that he's amped up. It could have been he got hurt then. He did get hit, I think, on that drive a couple plays earlier where he took a helmet to helmet. It didn't seem like it was too much, but it doesn't take a lot anymore. Because he did fall back. I don't know if he fell and hit his head or so there could be a couple factors going into that on him being concussed. And Campbell did confirm that he was concussed. He took him in the tent, took him out of the game, and then Campbell actually confirmed it. So he needs to get healthy. Now, quarterback Hendon Hooker led the team in rushing too. He had four carries for 34 yards, 8.5 yards a carry. Had that nice long run. He looked good with his legs. He did look good with his legs, and I thought he made a couple nice throws too. A couple wild throws though. A couple balls that were bad at the line of scrimmage. He did make a nice throw to kind of Donovan Peoples-Jones. It was a little bit out of his reach though. It would have been a phenomenal catch by Donovan Peoples-Jones in the end zone. But Hooker did have a couple misfires, but I thought he looked way more comfortable. I just don't know what the infatuation is with Sudfeld. I just really don't. And then rookie running back Sione Vaikai had 4 carries for 29 yards at 7.3 yards a carry. I thought he ran hard. Running back Zonovan Knight was 6 for 12 yards on 2 yards a carry. And then running back Craig Reynolds 4 for 11 on 2.8 yards a carry. Running back Jake Funk got in the mix, 4 for 9, 2.3 yards a carry. And then running back Jamar Jefferson 5 for 9 yards at 1.8. So they didn't run the ball all too well there. Didn't do much. You got your quarterback leading the way. That's not what you want to see for the most part, but it is very vanilla offensive and defensively too. You're not running a lot of stuff. But I thought Vaikai stood out more for the running backs. I thought he runs hard. He's a determined kid, man. But he is going to be running back 4 if they carry 4 running backs. I don't see why they won't, because he's good. He played well on special teams as well. And then receiving, rookie wide receiver Isaiah Williams, the kid out of Syracuse, undrafted free agent. He led the Big Ten in catches. He was 4 for 35 yards, 4 catches, 35 yards, 8.8 yards a catch, 4 targets, caught everything that was thrown to him. I thought he looked pretty good. He's a slot guy. We have a few slot guys on this team already, but he stood out the most. Wide receiver Donovan Peoples-Jones had 1 catch for 26 yards at pop, obviously, and 2 targets. He needs to get going more. And it looked like they were trying to get wide receiver Antoine Green going as well. 3 catches for 13 yards, 4.3, caught everything thrown to him, 3 targets. And then tight end James Mitchell was 1 for 11 per pop, and then 1 target. And the running back Zonovan Knight was 2 catches for 10 yards, 5 yards per average, and then 3 targets as well. Wide receiver Kanan Davis, kind of honorable mention. He was 1 for 5. He was targeted 4 times, though. They were trying to get him involved, just couldn't get him going. And then Darius Fountain, the wide receiver that everyone's been talking about for weeks. He was targeted 2-3 times, but he had 0 catches. I saw one play where Sudfeld had him wide open. It was a bad throw, but he needs to get involved as much too, because he's trying to get that wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. That's what he's going for. So, and then Isaiah Williams is out there too as well, taking kickoffs. He had 2 kickoffs for 56 yards. So, Isaiah Williams stood out big time there. Then on the defense, linebacker Deron Gilbert, the Michigan product. He had 4 tackles and a pretty nice pass breakup. Looked pretty good in coverage for a linebacker. He's a smaller linebacker at like 6'2", 220, something along those lines. Safety Brandon Joseph, 3 tackles. And he had a pick. Kind of he didn't make a crazy play on the interception. Just right place, right time. Just threw it right to him. He made the pick. He was a playmaker before he went to Notre Dame. And then linebacker Malik Jefferson, who they brought in a little bit late, had 4 tackles. He blew up a nice play on a bubble screen on on a bubble screen and had a TFL, a tackle for loss. Then linebacker Jalen Reeves-Maybin had 3 tackles. Rookie edge Nate Lynn, 2 tackles and a sack. He looked pretty good in rushing the quarterback. Obviously getting the sack. Broderick Martin kind of pushed him into that sack, but Nate Lynn got the pressure too as well. And then edge Isaac Ukwu, another UDFA that they brought in. He had 2 tackles and a sack as well. And then nose tackle Broderick Martin had 4 tackles. I thought he created some push. Showed a little giddy up for a big fella. You can tell he's lost a lot of weight. He's transformed his body. Not completely, but he's lost weight, and you can tell he's gotten quicker in the off season. So the defense, I thought the defense played pretty well. The defensive rush, like the run game, the run defense, they didn't play well. Well over 100 something yards. Man, they might have even almost touched 200 yards rushing the Giants. They ran all over Detroit's defense. But again, no starters. One starter that logged 10 snaps, and that was Arnold. He was a corner. But I thought they got pushed around a little bit in run defense. And that was one thing that they did extremely well last year. But that was the starters we're talking about, right? But they're still trying to find backups to backups to backups. So, but I thought their secondary played pretty well. They had a couple of nice pass breakups. Again, New York Giants, the quarterbacks were Drew Lock, who ended up getting hurt as well. And then, what's his name? Tommy DeVito, who had a couple misfires as well, too. So, but I thought the secondary played pretty well for the most part. I really liked what Rakestraw did. He had a nice play on a run where he pushed the guy out of bounds. I think he might have had a pass breakup too. Amik Robertson had a pass breakup. The newly acquired guy that we took from the Vegas Raiders. He's now a Lion. So I think the overall the run defense was terrible, but the pass defense was pretty good. The offense for the Lions was obviously bad. There's nothing really you can talk about. Dan Campbell went for it 4 times, went 0 for 4. People freaking out over that, but again, I'm going to make it real simple. And think about how I'm saying this. I'm saying this in all caps, by the way. Preseason. Now, I know Dan Campbell is a gambler. They call him Dan Gamble, all that stuff. And, I don't think he's going to go for it 4 times in a game, especially in those situations. The offense was completely stale with Sudfeld and even Hooker, who I thought looked more comfortable at least. It was still stale. The running game wasn't really going to what they really wanted. Wide receivers were not sticking out, only one of them really, in my opinion. And all in all, Campbell wanted to see what his offense can do. Because they were, I think they got down, Hooker drove them down, I think once or twice, down into the red zone. And they went for it twice. They did it too, I believe, with Sudfeld when he came back into the game. He got down there somehow, and they went for it again, and they didn't get it. Jake Bates did kick a 53-yarder. There's a lot of people out there that probably wanted to see Jake Bates kick more because, we brought this guy in, and he's struggled in camp. He has. He looked good first day. Then it's been rocky all the way since, and he's been missing a lot of field goal attempts in practice. But he did nail a 53-yarder versus the Giants in the rain and outdoors, something that he had trouble with as a UFL Michigan Panther kicker. And a little bit about the Giants offense. Running back Dante Miller, like I said, they ran all over Detroit. He had 63 yards and 5.3 yards. Running back Eric Gray had 52 yards, 2 touchdowns, 13 yards a carry. He even had 46 yards receiving. And then Tyrone Tracy, the other running back for them, had 5.2 yards a carry. So we couldn't stop the run. That's as simple as that. But again, backups to backups to backups to backups. But they need to be better. Because I'm telling you, 60-70% of these guys aren't even going to be on the Detroit Lions. They might be on a Lions practice squad. They might make another squad somewhere. A lot of these guys are going to get cut, but you still have to find backups to backups to backups. And our backups did look bad. I'm not going to sit there and say we look great in any situation, but there were guys that stood out. There were guys that stood out good, guys that stood out bad, and I pretty much named all those guys. I didn't think we had a really good showing at quarterback. I did like Hooker. He looked more comfortable. He looked more professional than I was. I was expecting him to struggle a lot more, but he looked comfortable. Let's just say that. I'm going to leave it at that. Didn't look good. Didn't look great. Didn't look bad. Didn't look terrible. He looked comfortable. I'm going to leave it at that. And then rushing, I didn't see anything really. Sione Vaikai looked good. The rookie out of Utah. Isaiah Williams, he stood out for me, a wide receiver. Defensively, I thought Deron Gilbert, the linebacker, had a decent day. I thought he was okay. Brandon Joseph looked okay. Broderick Martin, Isaac Ukwu, Nate Lynn, but all those guys got blown out in run defense. All the guys, nobody really looked good in the run defense from where I was, from my point of view, where I was standing or watching the game at home. So that's going to happen, but they need to be better. But there were some guys that stood out. And then Campbell going for it 4 times. Don't care. I don't care if Campbell goes for it on our 5-yard line in preseason, and it's 4th and 35. I don't care. You're doing things in preseason that you would never do in a regular season game. Now Campbell's going to go for it. Campbell's going to go for it, but I think in certain situations of this game, he probably would have went to Jake Bates. I would hope because he would go to Jake Bates a little bit more. And I'll be honest, I wanted to see Jake Bates kick a couple field goals, but I'm not sweating it. I'm not going to sweat it. They obviously like what they see in the kid, or I think they would have put him out there in more situations. But the offense was just so terrible that Campbell was like, I just need to see the offense more. And there's no way he was happy about the offense. There's just no way. A couple of good things you can try to pull out of there, but it's I thought Kingsley Agwakin, the backup center, who's playing some guard, who's probably going to get a lot of guard snaps now at O-line, who played well that game. He did play well. Connor Galvin was looking okay. Sorsdal struggled at tackle. He didn't have. I think he gave him a sack and a couple pressures. Didn't look great, and he's been a big standout in training camp. So there's a lot of work here, guys. There's a lot of work here. There's some good things you can pull out of it, and there's a lot of bad stuff you can pull out of it. Now, I think they're home for the next game. I don't even know who they're playing. The preseason. That just goes to show you that how much I really put into preseason. Like I said, this is my first time kind of talking about preseason games. I'm probably going to make it a thing now, though, and I'll probably pay a little bit more attention. But I think we're at home this week. Buffalo? I could be wrong. I think we played Buffalo this year. I don't even remember, guys. I feel kind of bad now. I feel bad, but I don't really feel bad. But you know what I mean? But the Giants D played good too. They only held us 3 points, but we did go for it 1,700 times. But that's okay. That's fine. I don't really care. But that's it, guys. We're kind of talking about that. We're going to let that go for a bit. Then we'll talk about training camp, I believe. Starts up again either tomorrow, Sunday. Either starts up tomorrow or Monday. I'm going to say Monday. It makes more sense. I'm not sure why they'd start it back up Sunday, but it could be wrong. Hey, it could be wrong. Been wrong before. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, guys, preseason 1, we lost. We're 0-1 in the preseason. You guys remember when we went 4-0 in the 0-16 season? I do. So preseason, that's how much stock I put into it. But you do want to see some guys stand out. You do. But scores, I don't care. It's individual work for me. And there was a couple individual efforts that were very solid, but a couple individual efforts that were terrible. So, and I'm repeating myself because I have that problem of doing that. But thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming in, man. We're going on 20 minutes. Probably too long of a video, but that's okay. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button at the bottom right. Don't forget the notification bell up top. Don't forget to like, comment, share this out. Preseason, guys. Let's get back to training camp. Let's work out some things. One pride, Detroit versus everybody. Grit. Let's go, baby. Bang.